And here is the Writer's Almanac for Sunday, July the 14th, 2019. 1789, the French mob stormed the Bastille prison in Paris and launched the French Revolution. The Bastille, a symbol of royal oppression, though it was not in much use on that day. There were only 7 prisoners to liberate, 4 of them forgers, 2 lunatics, and an aristocrat accused of incest. 100 of the attackers in the mob were killed on that day, and only 1 guard. King Louis XVI heard about the events at the Bastille, and he is said to have asked, "So this is a revolt?" And his duke said, "No, sire, this is a revolution." It's the birthday of the man who wrote the first big cowboy novel, Owen Wister, born in Germantown, Pennsylvania. Went to Harvard, studied music in Paris, became a lawyer. He was ill and he needed to go someplace to recuperate. He went to Wyoming, got interested in the Old West, and wrote The Virginian, which made the cowboy into a literary hero. It was the novel in which the line appeared, "When you call me that, smile." It's the birthday of the novelist Irving Stone, born San Francisco, 1903. As a young man, went to Paris, saw an exhibit of the work of Vincent van Gogh, which inspired him to write Lust for Life, a novel about Van Gogh's life. And then a number of biographical novels about historical figures, Freud and Darwin, and The Agony and the Ecstasy about the painter Michelangelo. And it's the birthday of Woodrow Wilson Guthrie, Woody Guthrie, born in Okemah, Oklahoma, 1912. Never finished high school, spent his time reading books at the library. He was a sign painter, and then he found a guitar in the street and started playing music. Went off to California during the Dust Bowl in the mid-30s, learned traditional folk and blues songs, and wrote thousands of his own, including, in 1940, This Land Is Your Land. Here's a poem by Faith Sheeran entitled Crabs. My parents moved to a cottage by the sea, and my grandmother arrived with her 20 suitcases and hand lotions, and we spent a week together sunning ourselves. We wore matching bathing suits and sunburns, and we built castles too close to the tide, empires with tiny lives. Then she decided we should cook crabs. We stepped into the seafood shop, a cold box of odor, and looked at the creatures pulled from the salt of their dreams. They were frozen, washed ashore on a beach of ice, and death was a place you could see in their eyes. There were eels that reminded me of depths and currents, and oysters as soft as tongues in the bumpy mouths of their shells. We bought a box of crabs, and these were fiercely alive, their eye drops of color, their claws opening and closing on misfortune. We prepared to steam them, and I hid my face in a pillow while my grandmother dropped each one into a shallow pan. We were sitting together on the sofa when we saw them erupt like lava, overflow onto the counter and floor. They moved sideways in their bright armor, and they were everywhere. And we were afraid. We hopped on the furniture, the floor, dangerous, and we did not eat them. Even when my father came home and collected them easily and returned them to the unhappiness of their box, we took those crabs back to the shore where they went on following the tides and rearranging the sand and holding their claws high like torches. A poem by Faith Sheeran Crabs from her collection Telling the Bees, published by Austin State University Press and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.